Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a review on the Starz TV series, The Couple Next Door. So before I head into my thoughts and feelings on The Couple Next Door, quick warning, I do not plan on having any sort of spoilers in this video, so watch freely as you will. But yeah, that being said, if you have seen the show, you want to talk about spoilers, totally feel free to comment down in the comment section and we can have a conversation about it. So, The Couple Next Door, let's get some of the info that you need, some of the important info. This is a 6-episode series on Starz, and it actually already aired over in the UK, like sometime late 2024, but yeah, here in America, we just now got it. So yeah, 6 episodes here on Starz in America, and it's based on a Dutch book by Saskia Noordt. And the book was actually turned into a TV series, a Dutch TV series, like several years ago, called The Neighbors. And yeah, do not confuse this book or this show with the book over here in America that is also called The Couple Next Door by Shari Lapena. I thought that book by Shari Lapena, I thought that book was this show. And I'm glad that I realized that, because I about bought the book thinking that book was going to be the show, and it's not. It's two different things. Yeah, guys. Yeah, do not confuse the Shari Lapena book with this show. Two totally different books, but they're strangely enough kind of similar. So the IMDb plot synopsis: if you have no idea what The Couple Next Door is about, a young couple move to an upscale neighborhood to start a family, but soon find themselves entangled in a complex web of desire and betrayal with their new neighbors. Ooh, scandalous, sexy, yes. You guys, I have some thoughts about this show. Okay, where to start? I honestly don't know how to feel about this show. There's a part of me that I almost view this show like a guilty pleasure, if you will. That I still really liked it and enjoyed it, but boy oh boy is it kind of bad in places, and just it makes you laugh when I don't think you're supposed to be laughing. So it's kind of one of those shows that I think you're going to get a guilty pleasure out of viewing it and like have fun watching it, because it's not boring. Let me put it that way. The show is certainly not boring, but I feel like the show is trying to do a lot. It's trying to weave in a bunch of different miscellaneous threads that just really culminate in the season finale in just kind of crazy ways that it is kind of weirdly laughable. This show, oh Lord, let me start here. I initially watched this show because of this genius, brilliant cast. Okay, I love Sam Heughan from Outlander, obviously. I love Eleanor Tomlinson from Poldark. Yeah, Jessica DeGao I've seen in a few other things, and then you have Alfred Enoch, from Harry Potter, little Dean Thomas. So I really liked Alfred Enoch too. So this cast, I was totally here for this cast. Like I said, especially Sam Heughan and Eleanor Tomlinson, who I have watched in numerous other things, and I just freaking love the two of them. So there's nothing wrong with the casting. And I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with the acting either. I do feel like I think near the tail end of the season, some of the acting gets a little over the top and extreme, but I think that's mostly because of the writing, that the actors are doing the best with what they can with the writing. Okay, the front half of the season truly, honestly worked for me. We're introduced to Evie and Pete. Evie played by Eleanor Tomlinson, and Pete played by Alfred Enoch. Evie and Pete moved to this really fancy, kind of wealthy-looking neighborhood. Evie's pregnant, and disaster kind of quickly befalls them in the first episode with this pregnancy. And Evie and Pete are kind of looking for more in their lives, Evie especially, and they kind of hook up with their next door neighbors, Becca and Danny, played by Jessica DeGao and Sam Heughan. And you quickly find out that Becca and Danny, they're this really fantastic looking couple, the couple next door. Okay, they're really fantastic looking. They're really athletic. They have really good jobs. They're kind of everything that you're rather envious of, And I think Evie and Pete are kind of envious of that to some degree, that their lifestyle. And so these two couples, they wind up being really good friends and buddies, but it does quickly get established that Becca and Danny, that they're not just exclusive to each other. They do like to branch out and experiment with other couples. And of course, this really sparks the interest of Evie, who, like I said, she's really looking for a lot more in her life, especially after the tragedy that happens in episode 1 with her pregnancy. Whereas Pete's a little bit more hesitant about kind of venturing out, branching out and doing new things. So let's kind of put it that way, that this show, if you've seen the trailer, if you've seen the trailer, I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to say that these two couples kind of hook up. And it goes bizarre and crazy from there. So I found the front half of the season to be the most well done. And I do mean that genuinely. I think the front half of the season was the best done, the best written, the best acted. I was at my most intrigued with the show. I think it was the most entertaining. And it's the second half of the season that it just kind of quickly falls apart. Like I said, this is only 6 episodes. And the last half of the season just really kind of stumbles around, and all these various different threads are coming together, and it's just that the show, it turns really over the top, and it gets over the top very quickly and very dramatically. It gets so over the top, it gets so extreme, it gets so just over exaggerated, and like I said, it gets to this point that you find yourself kind of laughing at the stupidity of some of the situations, the stupidity of these characters. And that's the thing, these characters, I think the front half, you really like them, and it's the second half where you start kind of disliking some of them. And I feel like the best characters on this show are actually Pete, Alfred Enoch, and Becca, Jessica DeGao. I think their characters are the best characters on this show, and they're the most sympathetic characters. I walked into this show because Becca's character is someone, I just can't relate to her type of character and her personality and behaviors, But Becca quickly becomes one of the most sympathetic characters on this show, I think. And yeah, Alfred Enoch's character, Pete, is as well as one of the most sympathetic characters. And it's just insane, like the turn Sam Heughan's character, Danny, and Eleanor Tomlinson's character, Evie, it's such a quick turn, how abrupt their characters just go downhill. And all of a sudden, you just don't like them. And like I said, I initially walked into this show for Sam Heughan and Eleanor Tomlinson, so I was just really kind of blown away and shocked how quickly things kind of turn with their characters, and I'm not sure if I liked it or not. So yeah, what I'm trying to say about this show, it gets ridiculous, it gets extreme, it gets over the top, but strangely enough, it's a good time. I don't know how that is. I wouldn't say I was hate watching this show. I certainly was not hate watching the show, because if anything, every week, every Friday that this was coming on Starz, I was looking forward to it. I was really excited to get home from work and come home and watch the latest episode. So I was really excited. And yeah, again, I was never bored. So it is entertaining, but it is one of those things. It's so extreme and over the top. You got to kind of just look past that and just go with the ride, and yeah, laugh with the ridiculousness. So yeah, just touching on the couples really quickly here. Like I said, we have Eleanor Tomlinson and Alfred Enoch playing Evie and Pete. I really liked their dynamic together, because at the start of this show, they have just a really normal functioning relationship. Nothing strange or weird about it, I really like them together. And yeah, Evie quickly kind of messes things up, girl. Yeah, like I said, Evie starts the show, she's pregnant, and a tragedy befalls her in the first episode. Evie is definitely reeling from grief and trauma very early in the season, and she's also just trying to figure out her life and what she wants with her life. And we also it gets established very quickly with Evie's character that she comes from a very religious, conservative family. And there's a lot of kind of things going on there with her family in regards to her relationship with Pete and everything. So I liked Evie's character that she has this really interesting, unique backstory to her. She is multidimensional in that regard. And then yeah, Pete's character. And Pete he needed to be protected at all costs this whole damn season. Okay, I loved Pete to bits, just so pure and innocent. He needs to be my boyfriend, okay? And then we have Jessica DeGao and Sam Hewen, the couple next door, if you will, playing Becca and Danny. Becca is like a yoga instructor. Danny is a cop. Like I already mentioned, the two of them, they have a very open relationship, and they invite couples into their home, and they all just have a good time with one another, if you get my drift. And the thing with Becca and Danny's relationship, which is so intriguing, because I can't relate to this whatsoever, you know, how their relationship is, they have just a really open, honest relationship. That's the vibe that you get, is that they tell each other everything. They don't hide anything, but you quickly discover that Danny is hiding things that Becca does not know about, and it's this big thing. How is this going to affect their relationship? Because Becca has always been honest and open with her emotions and how she talks about things, but Danny is clearly kind of hiding things, and he's not totally on board with Becca. And then we have this other couple across the street, Kate Robbins and Hugh Dennis, who play Jean and Alan. They are like the older middle-aged couple, if you will, and this is like a whole nother subplot that kind of goes somewhere in some interesting ways, but ultimately you kind of start thinking, did it have to be there? Did it have to be there entirely? As I said, they're both middle-aged. They're much older than these super attractive people across the street. And you find out that Alan has a really dark fixation on Becca that's really perverse. And we'll kind of leave it at that, you know, because things kind of get handled a certain way throughout the season, reveals and whatnot. And yeah, his wife Jean has no idea what's going on, you know, that he's up there because she can't walk. She has a disability. She can't walk. She can't get upstairs. And yeah, Alan's up there. He has like a microscope, and he's sitting there watching people across the street, and more specifically watching Becca and watching her do things that is very, very inappropriate. So you have that couple as well, which kind of adds a certain dynamic to the show. But again, was it totally needed? I'm not quite sure. And going back to Danny really quickly, played by Sam Hewen, there's this whole subplot with Danny that him and his buddy from work, because they're both cops, they get themselves wrapped up in this whole thing with like a crime boss that's going to get them in trouble, get them fired, if not thrown in jail if they get caught. And so there's that whole subplot there with this crime boss that kind of figures into things. And again, I don't know if that was entirely needed. I kind of kept watching the show, as much as I liked the show, I kind of kept watching the show thinking, you know what, I wonder if the show would have worked better as just a 2-hour movie and just strictly focused on the two couples and their dynamic and their relationship and how things just quickly spiral out of control, you know? Because yeah, what the show is about, it's ultimately about obsession and fixation, forbidden desire and lust, and people just wanting more, you know, wanting things that perhaps they shouldn't have, you know. So that's what the show kind of boils down to, and I really feel like the show should have just maybe trimmed itself down to like a 2-hour movie and just focused on these couples. And as I said, as everything just quickly spirals out of control that none of them can handle anymore. Because, yeah, there were just all these other little minor subplots going on in the show, and I just was never quite sure if they needed to be there and if they entirely worked. You can be the judge of that and let me know how you felt about some of the side things going on. So, you guys, I think that's pretty much it that I have to say about the couple next door. Apparently, this show has been renewed for a second season, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. The show does end in such a way, without spoiling anything, it does end in such a way that there are some pretty big cliffhangers and things that are not entirely resolved. I mean, if it had been canceled and it wasn't getting a second season, your mind could kind of very easily fill in those blanks. But still, I'm curious about this being renewed for another season, how that would work and what they're going to do exactly. Either way, I'll watch it. Not going to lie, I will watch it. As extreme and over the top as it may be, I will still watch it. And so, you guys, that is it for my thoughts and feelings on the couple next door. In the comments below, let me know how you felt about this show. Love it, hate it, just let me know. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye, guys.